take a picture when you were a little one. And now you're just going to meditate. हमारा बचपन हमारी जिंदगी बन जाता है. Have you heard about early childhood development? From Harvard to huge organizations in the West are now bringing about scientific research that the most important years in a human being's life are 0 to 7. Interestingly, ancient Indian sciences knew that already. I'm talking about Panchatantra, Gurukul, 1200 BCE. They knew about early childhood development even then. So much so that women were asked to affirm thoughts of perfection to the unborn child in the womb. That's why Panchatantra would encourage parents to have a loving, wonderful, joyous bond between themselves before bringing a child into the world. Once the child was born, parents were encouraged to always nurture the child with a yes philosophy and minimize the use of the word no. Why? Because children from the age of 0 to 7 are in a meditative state. That means whatever it is that they expose to becomes the blueprint of their life. So if you expose children to happiness, joy, limitless philosophies, then they grow up with similar beliefs. But sadly, if children are exposed to fights, struggles, self-limiting beliefs, then sadly, we grow up to be adults replaying those patterns in your life. So a mindfulness exercise now, because it's so important for us adults to consistently heal ourselves where our childhood is concerned as well, isn't it? For example, if you grew up watching your parents struggle in a relationship, if you always observed your mother or your father consistently bring each other down, then you will see similar patterns in your relationships as an adult. If you observed your parents constantly have limiting beliefs where finances are concerned, or they struggled to make money, or they always said it's so difficult to make money, then you'll grow up with financial ceilings. You'll always struggle to make ends meet. Even if you make money, you'll lose it all with severe, sudden expenses. If you've grown up watching your parents fight with high decibels, calling each other names, then you will become an adult with the same definition that I must raise my voice, I must show temper to get things done. So your mindfulness exercise today is connected to early childhood development, because we adults are also children masquerading as adults. So the mindfulness exercise for this week is to recognize your patterns. What patterns are working for you? Relationships are in order? Good job, well done. Go back to your childhood and you'll see, wow, my parents had a wonderful relationship too. Now look at your professional patterns. Are you constantly struggling to make a name, to be famous, to recognize your talents and to express your talents? Go back to your childhood. Did your parents go through similar struggles? Now look at your finances. Are you constantly struggling to make ends meet? Go back to your childhood. Did you see your parents do the same? So now how can we change and turn around these patterns so that we don't self-sabotage, so that we help ourselves? You take a picture when you were a little one, and now you're just going to meditate. Look at the picture and just meditate and revisit those early years. And you're going to change the narrative, because you see, we become exactly the stories we tell ourselves. So you're going to observe that, oh, my parents were quarreling, if that was your reality, constantly quarreling, bringing each other down, calling each other names. Change the narrative. Now, through the eyes of this little one, you are going to observe your parents be very loving, appreciating each other, acknowledging each other, helping each other. If you have a block where finances are concerned, then you will meditate and change the narrative. So if the reality was that your parents are bickering and struggling and are not financially free, you will now change the narrative and observe your parents have abundance in their life. They're happy with what they have. They're absolutely healthy in their relationship with money. So you observe that and change the narrative to how you would want it to be through the eyes of a child. In the same way, if your reality was that your parents were calling each other names, having volatile tempers, or sadly if you observed either of your parent being physically abused, change the narrative. Meditate and observe that your parents were loving, respectful with each other. They placed their expressions and their points of view with love and respect, with patience. So you change the narrative through meditation, going into this beautiful journey when you were a child. So that's how early childhood development can actually heal you, empower you, and even if we are adults, we now know that science backs this theory that we are exactly what we observed when we were little ones. So while we're so careful with how we bring up our children, it's also important for adults to heal ourselves, because only happy, balanced, fulfilled individuals can bring up happy, fulfilled children. So early childhood development is to recognize the powerful years of a child's life between 0 to 7. They're meditative, but it can also heal adults. We can unlock these amazing patterns, some that work for us and some that are creating blocks. So I hope you enjoy this mindfulness journey of returning to innocence.